All right, let's jump straight into this explainer and figure out how to take casual, everyday sports betting and turn it into a hardcore, data-driven investment strategy. Specifically, we're zeroing in on the over 2.5 goals market today. If you are totally exhausted from just crossing your fingers, hoping your team manages to hold a lead, and sweating out the last 5 agonizing minutes of a match, well, you're in the right spot. We're going to break down exactly how the sharps do this by taking all the emotion completely out of the equation.
And that brings us to the core philosophy of this whole approach. Most people bet vibes. We bet data. Seriously, when you're just betting on gut feelings or team loyalty, you're basically gambling on a coin flip. But when you bet on data, you're stepping into the shoes of an investor. You are hunting for a measurable mathematical edge. The sources we're diving into today all hammer home this one fundamental truth. If you want consistent success, your gut feeling absolutely has to take a back seat to undeniable numbers. And to really prove why you need a strict system, think about the legendary story of Archie Carras. Back in 1992, this guy rolled into Las Vegas with literally $50 to his name. $50. But by ruthlessly following his own strict rules and systems over the next couple of years, he famously turned that $50 into roughly $40 million. I mean, insane, right? Now, obviously, that's a wild outlier. We're probably never going to see a run quite like that again. But the takeaway here is crystal clear. To pull money consistently from these markets, you need a rock-solid, repeatable framework. So here's our game plan for today. We'll start with the over 2.5 allure. Then we'll move into ditching vibes for data, break down the math of chaos, look at leveraging the best tools, and finally wrap up with the execution strategy. Let's kick things off with part 1, the over 2.5 allure. Because the advantages of this market are just massive. You know that horrible, stressful feeling of watching a 3-team straight win parlay where literally one bad referee call or a single unlucky bounce completely ruins your entire day? Yeah, we want to avoid that. The over 2.5 market lets you predict fewer games while still locking in really juicy, highly profitable odds. You literally do not care who wins or who loses. You just need the net to bulge 3 times, the whole shebang. It actually makes watching the game so much more relaxed, assuming, of course, you've picked the right ones. Which brings us right to part 2, ditching vibes for data. Now, this is crucial. This is the non-negotiable 5 out of 7 rule pulled straight from our sources. You are looking for a strict checklist, high average goals, a strong 70% over 2.5 trend over the last 10 games, the right high-scoring league, an explosive head-to-head history, a strong attack going up against a weak defense, a pattern of early goals in the first 30 minutes, and some kind of high motivation, like a cup game. Here's the golden rule. If a match doesn't hit at least 5 of these 7 criteria, you walk away. Period. Just applying this discipline alone is going to weed out the vast majority of your losing bets.
What you're actively hunting for here are matches loaded with what we call chaos fuel. I absolutely love this term. It's that volatile mix you get when a highly aggressive, high-scoring team clashes with a team that has a severely leaky defense. When these teams meet, they don't park the bus, they open up, and that naturally creates these chaotic, domino effect matches with tons of early goals. That specific chaos, that is exactly what we want to invest our money in.
Okay, let's get into the actual numbers in part 3, the math of chaos. Before you even bother calculating individual team stats, you have to look at the macro environment. You need to make sure your chosen league, whether that's the Dutch Eredivisie, the German Bundesliga, or maybe tournaments like the women's AFCON, maintains a season-long over 2.5 rate of at least 55%. Stop betting on dead, low-scoring leagues and praying for a miracle. Go where the goals already live.
So once you've found the right league, you need to find the true current form. You do this by manually dividing the goals scored and the goals conceded by the total number of games played. What you're looking for is both teams averaging at least 1.5 goals scored and at least 1 goal conceded per match. That math proves they definitely have the offensive firepower to score, but they're fragile enough at the back to let the other team score too.
Let's look at a real Bundesliga case study from our sources. Check out these numbers for Frankfurt and Hoffenheim. They mathematically smash those minimum thresholds. Frankfurt is scoring 1.58 and conceding 1.29. Hoffenheim, scoring 1.79 and bleeding 1.83. They are both scoring way over that 1.5 mark and giving up well over 1 goal a game. It's a perfect setup. The data is practically screaming that both teams are going to find the back of the net, heavily pushing that total over 2 goals.
Now, nobody wants to crunch those numbers manually for hours, which leads us to part 4, leveraging the best tools.
Check out this incredible shortcut using soccer stats to instantly spot those wild, high-scoring games. It's a quick 3-step process. Step 1, pull up the site. Step 2, pick your league and filter by goals for the last 8 matches. Step 3, look for games where the combined average goals are 7 or more, with each team contributing at least 3. You are basically finding the absolute peak of that chaos fuel we talked about. These are the games that end in crazy, wildly profitable scorelines like 4-2 or 5-1. Then there's the B-Minds machine, which is another fantastic resource highlighted in the data. This tool is amazing because it essentially sucks in all the historical data and does the heavy lifting for you. You select over 2.5, and you can routinely grab their top 4 daily predictions to build a daily accumulator. And we're talking about combined odds well over 3.0 here. It basically acts like a football money GPS, pointing you straight to the matches mathematically primed to explode.
And if you really want to pair your own research with some heavy-hitting expert projections, platforms like over25tips.com are fantastic. They offer a highly curated daily shortlist boasting exceptional statistical accuracy. Some of these curated picks have historical strike rates quoted as high as 95%. They aren't going to overwhelm you with a massive list of 50 games. They give you a laser-focused selection that already meets all the rigid data criteria we've been discussing today.
All right, the final piece of the puzzle, part 5, the execution strategy.
According to the playbook, you basically have 2 distinct routes you can take here. The first option is the pre-match entry. You just take the straight over 2.5 goals before kickoff at ideal odds sitting between 1.6 and 1.9. It's simple, it's repeatable, it's a really solid risk-reward balance. Or you go with the in-play entry. This is where you wait out the first 25 minutes of a scoreless game to secure massive value. If it's still 0-0, those odds are going to drift up and push past 2.0. But you don't just blindly jump in.
Right. This is absolutely crucial. If you decide to go that advanced in-play route, you have to cross-reference the live stats against 3 strict criteria. After 25 minutes, are there 4 or more combined goal attempts? Are there at least 2 shots on target? And is the combined attacking possession over 60%? If you can answer yes to those, it confirms that the aggressive, chaotic tempo is still there, the game is still primed to break open, and you are stepping into the market at incredible value.
So, wrapping up this explainer, I'm going to leave you with this final thought. Are you going to keep relying on luck, blind hope, and betting on vibes? Or are you finally ready to use these mathematical filters and automated tools to start trading data like a pro? The edge is out there, just waiting for you to grab it. It really is time to treat this like an investment.